Hello, my name is Samantha Guzman, and today I'm going to be talking about Bridget Sampson's TED Talk video of how public speaking changes lives. So throughout this entire TED Talk that she gives out, she uses ethos, pathos, and logos to overall emphasize how the importance of public speaking and how it changes lives. So let's start off how she uses ethos in her speech. So she was started off by saying how she was required to take this college public speaking course and how she was absolutely mortified to deliver the speech in front of the entire class. And she says that there she was in front of the entire class having to deliver the speech. All she was doing was reading off her notes. She couldn't even look up at her audience because she was absolutely mortified to look up at them, and her hands were trembling terribly. And she wouldn't have believed that 2 years after this, she was going to actually become a public speaking professor and coach. And so this really proves how credible she is on speaking about this topic. And actually in our textbook in chapter 12, there's this direct quote that says, credibility refers to the audience's acceptance to the speaker and what their message that they're trying to give out. So clearly, Sampson is very credible to give this speech because of what she has gone through and what she is currently doing now as a professor. So we talked about how she used ethos. Let's talk about how she uses pathos. So she said in her speech that she once had this student that came to her office and simply said, "I will never be able to give a speech in your class." She was absolutely terrified to give a speech to the entire class. And Sampson said that they were appalled when he said that, like, they were taken aback. Like, what do you mean, you know? And they got to talking more, and through this conversation, Sampson learned that this student has gone through a lot of hardships in their life. This student had gone through gang violence, people in their close circle, family, people that they know have been incarcerated, a lot of gun violence and all that stuff. And they've simply gone through a lot of hardships. And Sampson was like, wait a minute, if you have gone through all this, a simple 5-minute speech in front of 25 people is easy. This little speech is just a little bump in the road. You have gone through much more harder things. This is completely easy to you. You can do this. And that student actually, towards the end of that course, gave one of the best speeches that Sampson had ever heard. And half of that class was crying of how emotional it was. And so you can see that she uses pathos to try to connect with the audience. And so we talked about how she uses pathos. Let's talk about how she uses logos. So Sampson uses logos by saying that a lot of famous public speakers like Gandhi and Barbra Streisand and Abraham Lincoln. So these ideas that she gives are very practical and supports her overall speech on how public speaking changes lives. All these people are very important people, very famous, and they were public speakers. And just overall supports her claim and that public speaking changes lives. So I personally took this speech and kind of took it as like, public speaking changes a lot of lives. I also kind of made me realize that I need to advocate for myself more. She also talked about advocating for yourself. Public speaking helps a lot with advocating for yourself. And I think I definitely need to advocate for myself more in both in my educational life and definitely in my personal life. That it isn't just, public speaking isn't just for like speaking for this public speaking class, but it's also for in your overall life, and you're gonna need it in the long run. This isn't just some little skill that is only for this specific course, but for overall life. So in conclusion, public speaking changes lives, and Barbra Streisand showed this perfectly using ethos, pathos, and logos. Thank you.